John F. Kennedy, 1963 USA. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, while riding in an open-top motorcade. The shooting occurred as the president's vehicle passed Dealey Plaza, where 3 shots were fired, hitting Kennedy and Texas Governor John Connally. Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine and alleged shooter, was arrested for the crime. However, Oswald was fatally shot just 2 days later by nightclub owner Jack Ruby, fueling countless conspiracy theories. The official Warren Commission investigation concluded Oswald acted alone, but suspicions of a larger plot involving the CIA, the Mafia, or foreign actors persist. Kennedy's death shocked the nation and the world, as his charismatic leadership had symbolized hope and progress for many Americans. The assassination also led to significant changes in U.S. Secret Service protocols, emphasizing tighter security for high-ranking officials. Abraham Lincoln, 1865 USA. On April 14, 1865, just days after the end of the Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer. Booth shot Lincoln in the back of the head as he watched the play Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. The attack was part of a larger plot to destabilize the Union government, which also targeted Vice President Andrew Johnson and Secretary of State William Seward. Booth fled but was tracked down and killed 12 days later. Lincoln succumbed to his injuries the next morning, becoming the first U.S. president to be assassinated. His death, deeply mourned by a war-weary nation, disrupted plans for post-war reconstruction and reconciliation. The assassination also left an indelible mark on American history, cementing Lincoln's legacy as the savior of the Union and emancipator of enslaved people. Martin Luther King Jr., 1968 USA. On April 4, 1968, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was fatally shot in Memphis, Tennessee, while standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. King, known for his nonviolent resistance and leadership during the civil rights movement, had traveled to Memphis to support striking sanitation workers. James Earl Ray, a career criminal, was arrested in London 2 months later and pleaded guilty to the murder, though many still question whether he acted alone. King's death triggered widespread grief and sparked riots in over 100 U.S. cities, reflecting the anger and frustration over racial injustice. The assassination marked a tragic turning point in the civil rights struggle, depriving the movement of its most influential voice. King's legacy of equality and peace endures, inspiring generations to fight against discrimination and advocate for justice worldwide. Mahatma Gandhi, 1948, India. On January 30, 1948, Mahatma Gandhi, leader of India's independence movement, was assassinated in New Delhi by Nathuram Godse, a Hindu nationalist. Gandhi, who preached non-violence and unity between Hindus and Muslims, had become a target for extremists who opposed his vision for a secular India. Godse approached Gandhi during his evening prayer meeting and shot him 3 times at point-blank range. Gandhi's assassination sent shockwaves across the world, as his philosophy of nonviolent resistance had inspired movements for justice worldwide. In India, his death exacerbated communal tensions, but also solidified his status as the father of the nation. Godse and his co-conspirators were arrested, tried, and executed for the crime. Gandhi's legacy endures as a beacon of peace, tolerance, and the power of nonviolent resistance in the face of oppression and hatred. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, 1914, Austria-Hungary. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist. The assassination occurred during the Archduke's visit to Bosnia, a territory annexed by Austria-Hungary. Princip, a member of the nationalist group Young Bosnia, sought to end Austro-Hungarian rule and unite South Slavic peoples. The killing, initially viewed as a localized act of political violence, triggered a diplomatic crisis that spiraled into World War I. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia, setting off a chain reaction of alliances that plunged Europe into a devastating conflict. The war led to the deaths of millions and the collapse of empires, fundamentally reshaping the global order. Franz Ferdinand's assassination remains one of history's most consequential events, illustrating how a single act of violence can alter the course of history. Julius Caesar, 44 BCE, Roman Republic. On March 15, 44 BCE, Roman dictator Julius Caesar was assassinated in the Senate chamber by a group of senators led by Gaius Cassius and Marcus Junius Brutus. The conspirators, fearing Caesar's growing power and his appointment as dictator for life, stabbed him 23 times in a coordinated attack. The assassination occurred on the Ides of March, a date forever associated with betrayal and treachery. Caesar's death, far from restoring the Roman Republic as the assassins had hoped, plunged Rome into a series of civil wars. His adopted heir, Octavian, later Augustus, emerged victorious, ushering in the Roman Empire. Caesar's assassination not only marked the end of the Republic, but also symbolized the clash between autocracy and democracy. The event has been immortalized in literature, most famously in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, and continues to serve as a cautionary tale about ambition and political power. Malcolm X, 1965 USA. On February 21, 1965, Malcolm X, a prominent African-American Muslim minister and human rights activist, was assassinated while delivering a speech at the Audubon Ballroom in New York City. 3 gunmen, identified as members of the Nation of Islam, rushed the stage and opened fire, killing him in front of his audience, including his wife and children. Malcolm X had become a controversial figure due to his outspoken criticism of systemic racism and his break with the Nation of Islam. His assassination came at a time when internal divisions within the civil rights movement were becoming more pronounced. For decades, questions lingered about the involvement of other entities, including government agencies. Malcolm X's death deprived the Black freedom struggle of a powerful and uncompromising voice. His legacy continues to inspire activists, with his life story illustrating themes of transformation, justice, and empowerment. Yitzhak Rabin, 1995 Israel. On November 4, 1995, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated in Tel Aviv by Yigal Amir, a right-wing Jewish extremist. Rabin had been attending a peace rally supporting the Oslo Accords, which aimed to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Amir, opposed to territorial concessions to Palestinians, viewed Rabin's efforts as a betrayal of Jewish interests. The assassination shocked Israel and the world, as Rabin's leadership had been pivotal in advancing peace talks. Rabin's death left the peace process in turmoil, exacerbating tensions between Israelis and Palestinians and deepening divisions within Israeli society. Thousands attended his funeral, where global leaders paid tribute to his courage and dedication to peace. The assassination underscored the fragility of progress in deeply entrenched conflicts and remains a sobering reminder of the dangers posed by extremist ideologies in any society.